So, Bill, let's talk about what's going on. Beginning, are they expecting the trial to start next week? We should have the jury picked, right, by the end of this week? Yeah.
Well, look, anything could happen in these things, as you know. I mean, litigation is chaotic, but the judge in this case wants to move it along, and the jury is the jury in Delaware. Both sides, both lawyers on each side, they get to pick people that they feel don't know anything, and that's the truth. They don't want smart people on the jury who watch Fox News or may understand the core problem here. They want people who have no idea, so they're not biased.
So it's in Delaware. Why is it in Delaware? Is Fox a Delaware corporation?
The Dominion people are registered there.
Okay.
Many corporations are registered in Delaware because they have very low corporate taxes.
Correct. All right.
Dominion, the voting machine, just for you, and I'm sure most of your listeners know this, they say that their company got severely damaged because Fox News and Newsmax and One America, and there are lawsuits against those two as well, lied about what the voting machines did in the 2020 election. And that is true. So the voting machines in Dominion, there hasn't been one shred of evidence produced that says those machines threw votes to Joe Biden.
Right.
And the Trump people, Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell, they were running around saying this, and Fox News gave them a forum, in many cases unchallenged. So that is the heart of the lawsuit. Now, there's only one thing involved here, and this is what makes it fascinating: a reckless disregard for the truth. That's what the Dominion lawyers have to prove to the jury that doesn't know anything. A reckless disregard for the truth. That means that when these guests appeared on Fox News, the interviewers and the hierarchy of Fox, Rupert Murdoch on down, all knew this was bogus. There was no solid evidence against Dominion. Okay? That would be a reckless disregard for the truth. So they allowed someone to come on, say false things unchallenged.
Okay, so wait a minute, Bill. I had Sidney Powell on, and, I said, that's great. If you have that, you should produce it. Well, I am going to. Well, when you produce it, I'll have you back. So that's not a reckless regard.
No, that's a reasonable approach.
Correct. Now, so the recklessness comes from because I could have believed her, but I didn't because she would have produced some evidence. So right. I could have believed her. I might not have believed her, but I could still have her on. The problem here with Fox is they had her on over and over and over again, right?
Yeah, but it was more than that. So according to the depositions and the internal documents that Dominion got from Fox, they had to hand them over. That at the same time, Sidney Powell and Giuliani and other people were saying that Dominion did X, Y, and Z. They knew that Dominion didn't do it. So, I mean, that's pretty tough. That's pretty tough to overcome, and that's what Fox's burden is. Now, a couple of other things you'll find interesting. There isn't one media operation in this country, not one, of any note, that wants Fox to win this. They all want Fox to lose it and be destroyed because from day one, that's what the corporate media has wanted, destroy Fox News.
Correct.
And number two, cameras in the courtroom are not there. That helps Fox because if the cross-examination of Rupert Murdoch and Tucker Carlson, the other people, it's going to be brutal. It's going to be brutal. And if it were on camera, then that video would be everywhere. Now, the American people in the world, anybody watching around the world, will have to rely on the print press primarily to tell them what's going on in the courtroom. Now, that's going to be brutal too, but it's not as bad as seeing it with your own eyes.
Correct. So what is this? What does this mean, not just to Fox, but if Fox loses, does this affect the rest of us?
Not really, because I sat in that chair for more than 20 years at Fox. I didn't get sued ever because I put the opposite point of view on. If you had a provocative thesis or hypothesis that Dominion or anybody else was cheating in the election, I'll put you on, but I'll cross-examine you hard. That's what I do. But I'll also put the other side on, which isn't hard to do, Beck. That's not hard.
So if you
do that, then there's no malice.
So is that how CNN gets away and all the other media corporations get away with, the whole Russiagate experience? They pounded that.
But here's the difference.
Okay.
There was no monetary damage done to any person or corporation in the phony Russiagate thing.
Trump?
So some Americans could, and still to this day, statute of limitations not run out, you could file a class action lawsuit against CNN and NBC News. You could do that. It cost you millions of dollars, so you'd have to get somebody to pay for it. But you could say that there's a fraud. There's a reckless disregard for the truth on those networks because they promoted a phony story, Russian collusion. You could do that, but it's a lot harder to win that kind of a theoretical lawsuit than this one.
Because of the monetary harm.
Yeah, you've got to show damages. Dominion says they can show it. Sure. I don't know. But I think that, the jury, the people who don't know anything, the only thing that they're going to focus in on is reckless disregard for the truth. So behind the scenes, Fox News commentator, whoever said this, but on the show, they said that. That's going to be tough for Fox.
What does it mean if Fox loses for them?
Well, mass layoffs, number one, because they're going to take a huge hit. Remember, the jury can apply punitive damages against Fox in addition to the $1.6 billion, and they don't have to award Fox $1.6 billion. They can award, Dominion. They can award Dominion $800 million or whatever. Okay, and then a judge can also temper the money, but you've got to assume that this is going to be, if they lose, FNC loses, they're going to pay an enormous amount of money. They've already paid more than $50 million in legal fees. Some of that is covered by insurance, but they're going to hemorrhage money. That's number one. So they'll have to lay off a ton of people over there. And number two, it shatters them forever.
Right.
As being a legitimate news agency.
But
the core people who watch Fox, the older, very conservative people, will continue to watch.
Right.
They're not going to bail. They'll never bail.
Well,
because there's nowhere else to go.
Right. And the audience keeps getting smaller and smaller on all cable news.
Particularly the younger audience.
Yeah.
They're gone at Fox News. They never existed on the others. But you mentioned CNN and the word doom. CNN knows a lot about doom, Beck.
They keep seeming
over there.
They keep seeming to carry on. I don't know, but they do. Bill, thank you very much. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you again when the trial starts and get your take on it. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Bill O'Reilly from BillO'Reilly.com.